What's your
during
name?
water cooling, does it
Hello?
affect the hello?
Hello, please introduce about yourself. Amarnath. Are you Amarnath?
Yes, sir.
Ah,
I was seeing the observation table, sir. Means in the second experiment, we didn't do any applied any water cool system. Uh, in the fourth experiment, we applied the water cooling system to our engine. So does it affect the no load fuel consumption, sir? Because in the second experiment, under no
I
load, it was 64 second for 10 cc,
no.
and
Okay, I got your point, Amarnath. Yeah. Hello.
yes, sir.
What was the second experiment? If I am right, it is performance test on a single cylinder diesel engine. You know. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So which was connected to a DC shunt dynamometer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The load on the engine is controlled by varying the resistances. Whereas you are talking about the heat balance test, you are trying to compare with the cooling, whatever it is there, no? And a heat balance
Yes, sir.
test, same type of engine, whereas it was connected to a water break dynamometer.
Yes, sir.
So there, the loading was done by adjusting the water flow into the dynamometer. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
That is
Yes,
not
sir.
at
Yes.
all. That is not at all connected with the water cooling of the engine. What is going into the engine? We have noted down a heat balance test, no, the different temperatures on the extreme other side. Okay, that is required. That is the temperatures. Whereas if you recall, I just showed you that there are temperature devices which are connected on the engine when we were doing a performance test on a single cylinder diesel engine. Water flow
Yes, sir.
not adjusted in a second experiment doesn't mean that engine was not given coolant. Okay, we didn't observe. You got my point.
Amarnath,
Yes.
both
Yes, sir.
engines have water flow for cooling cylinder, and the heat balance test, there is additional water flow circuit through which we load the dynamometer.
Sir, then how in no load condition the fuel consumption rate will differ in I saw it differ by 26 seconds. It's just high, I think. Like
That
so,
depends
I
on the
think
condition of
during
the
water
engine.
cooling,
Hello,
fuel consumption is affecting.
Amarnath. The condition of the engine also makes a lot of difference. I told you, no, whether you noted my point or not, exhaust temperature in the half load condition, it is around a little over 500 degrees. Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 500 degrees. So if you 500 degrees means what is the temperature? Water becomes steam at 100 degrees. Okay.
Yes, sir.
At 500, the exhaust gases are leaving means it is much higher, which is not expected of a good engine. Even at a higher full load, the temperature would be in a good engine, good conditioned engine. It will be around 300 to at the most 325. Okay. But when
Yes,
you are losing for the exhaust gases at a temperature of 505, that itself shows that engine is not in a proper condition. And the dynamometer, the spring balance, so you should observe that it is fluctuating a lot. Whereas that was not the case in a performance test where we loaded the engine with the help of a DC shunt dynamometer. Almost a stable load we could observe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the condition of the engine also plays a vital role in deciding the performance. Have you done calculations for heat balance test?
Yes, sir. Then that's why sir asking
Yeah. So at half the load, how much percentage useful power you got? Could be
sir, around
less than
15% is sir.
15 is higher only. A little less than 10% also, there is no doubt. At half load, how much you got useful power percentage?
Around, sir, 14% actually, 14.39.
That shows that it is the thermal efficiency at the half the full load. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Percentage of useful power is nothing but thermal efficiency, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So suppose just extrapolate it. You get around the efficiency about 25%. Diesel engines are normally meant for giving a performance very near to 35%. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the condition of the engine is not good. Okay? See, Amarnath, it is just similar to if you check the blood sample. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you just see the RBCs, WBCs in a blood sample diagnostics, and we cannot decide that the person is undergoing or suffering from a heart attack or some sort of disability in the heart. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So engine diagnostics need to be of that kind unless I trace the pressures inside the engine cylinder with the help of a piezoelectric pressure transducer. I cannot ascertain the performance of engine. But now why I am comparing means exhaust air temperature is going so high, it shows that the piston rings could have been worn out. Why we are not able to conduct the test at full load means engine is unable to take the full load. Okay.
Yes.
So piston rings have been worn out. That is one of the reasons I can cite. Yeah. Now we are about 139. Sampath Kumar garu.
Sir, can we start, sir?
We will start.
Okay, I'm starting the recordings.
So today we will be conducting one second cycle. The first experiment is a constant speed performance test on a multi-cylinder diesel engine. The make is a Perkins. Okay. So in the first cycle, we observed the performance of single cylinder engines. So let us see how a multi-cylinder engine has performed. So to go into the details, we have made use of hello.
Yes, sir.
అంటే కంటిన్యూ చేయమంటారా లేదా వీడియో చూపిస్తారా?
ఫస్ట్ కంటిన్యూ ఇంతవరకు చెప్పండి సార్.
So actually this is a Perkins engine has got its speciality. Before understanding its what is its speciality means, most of the diesel engines, as long as they are working under constant speed, they try to take the air, same amount of air irrespective of loads. Because when you rub your hands at a same rate, you don't generate that much heat. Okay. So similarly, when you run also at a same speed, you breathe in equal amount of air theoretically. Okay.
Sir, voice is lowing. Voice is getting lower.
కానీ అది సైడ్ లో ఏదో సౌండ్ చాలా గర్ర వస్తుందండి.
ఓకే సార్, జస్ట్
హలో.
ఇస్ ఇట్ ఓకే సార్ వెన్ ఐ స్టాప్ మై థింగ్?
ఒక్కసారి ఆపండి. మ్యూట్ చేశారా? ఏదో ఫ్యాన్ దో దేందో సౌండ్ వస్తుందండి. ఎవరన్నా ఆన్ చేసి ఉన్నారా?
ఐ థింక్ nobody is there. Let me switch off.
Dear students, if somebody is unmuted, please mute, no?
Sir, me, Amarnath, Gupta sir is also, only you, sir. No, you and me, sir. Now is it okay, sir? I switched off my fans and all.
ఇప్పుడు ఏం లేదండి, సౌండ్ లేదు.
ఓకే సార్.
మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ అయింది. ఏదో బర్ర అనే సౌండ్ వస్తుంది కదా.
You are not getting, sir.
Are you also experiencing? You are not getting.
నాకేం డిస్టర్బెన్స్ రావడం లేదే.
Hello?
Sometimes headphones will be with low battery, it will come, sir, because of headphones.
Actually, I am not
Because
getting any
of-
disturbance.
No, we are also not getting anything, sir.
Now, are you able to hear properly?
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Everything fine. Audio is very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. అదే సంపత్ కుమార్ గారు డౌట్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేస్తే
లేదు సార్, ఉండి కొంచెం వాయిస్ మీది మౌత్ పీస్ నుంచి దూరంగా వెళ్ళినట్టున్నారు, కొంచెం లోయర్ అయిందని చెప్పాను సార్. దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ సెడ్.
ఇప్పుడు ఓకేనా?
దిస్ ఇస్ ఓకే సార్, దిస్ ఇస్ ఓకే.
నౌ ఇట్స్ ఓకే.
వెరీ క్లియర్ సార్.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. So before going into the details of the conduct of test, let us understand what is the specialty of this Perkins engine. So basically, all diesel engines are unthrottled engines. Unthrottled means the incoming airflow, we don't control it. So if you don't control the amount of airflow, so then how do you regulate the load or speed? It is by varying the amount of fuel. So it means that irrespective of the loads, the fixed amount of air is going, provided the engine is running under constant speed conditions. Am I correct? Okay. So the amount of air taken at no load, the amount of air taken by the engine at full load are one and the same, with a smaller difference. Because we cannot say that the conditions could be same at all loads, no? But practically it should be same. So to regulate the load, what did we do? We control the fuel flow. So now fuel has got a higher consumption at higher loads. So that means if you calculate the air fuel ratio at no load condition and air fuel ratio at full load condition, so they are different. So at zero load, it could be as near to 80:1 air fuel ratio. So if you see the same value, at a full load, it could be very near to 20:1. So that means the air fuel ratio is varying from 80:1 to 20:1 as we moved from part load to full load. But what has remained constant is the airflow. So air fuel ratio has changed because of the fuel flow only. So the point again, what I am emphasizing here is, in a conventional engine, to vary the load, we have varied the fuel rack position. Now, coming back to the Perkins engine, what they did was, instead of working with the fuel rack position directly, they varied the airflow. Okay? So by varying the airflow, that means what are the pressures acting during the suction? That is by operating the throttle valve in the air filter. So that pressure difference has been conveyed to the fuel rack position. So we didn't directly touch the fuel flow, but air pressure has been controlled by the operator, which in turn transmitted to the fuel flow. So you are trying to regulate both airflow and, as usual, the fuel flow. Almost air and air fuel ratio remains constant. In that way, Perkins engine is different from the conventional diesel engines. Let us see the diagram, how it has been seen. Now you are able to see there is an accelerator pedal, you see, on the extreme left top. Okay, if you press that one, that is going under, there's a lever. Yeah, correct. Please come down. Yeah, correct. Please come down. Yeah. So that it is converting. So there is a throttle plate like this. You are seeing, no? Here. Please go. No. Top. Air filter. Below the air filter.
Yes, sir.
So there is a throttle plate. There is a throttle plate. So that means this gets varied when you press or withdraw. Okay. So that means there is a pressure, because the incoming atmospheric pressure is being controlled. So there is what is called venturi, because it's a notch-like portion, and that is being opened and closed by like a Venturi control lever. And this is in turn, because if I vary the position of this particular thing, and actually I have to correct varied the position of fuel rack position here, bottom one.
This one, sir.
This one. We should have regulated this one.
Okay.
Whereas we are regulating at the top, which is directly connected from this right curve, you know.
Sir,
This
voice is
right-
reduced.
My voice, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Continue.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Sometimes it is getting lower. That's what.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine, sir.
Yeah, some disturbance is coming, as if we have switched on some blower.
Oh.
So
okay.
that partial vacuum is transmitted to the fuel control lever here. So we are not directly regulating the fuel flow, but it is controlled by the air, vacuum being created in the Venturi. That's how the air added, and it almost maintains the air fuel ratio very near to stoichiometry or little over stoichiometry, similar to a SI engine. So conventionally diesel engines are quality governed engines, whereas petrol engines are quantity governed engines. So it is now working like a SI engine. So instead of calling it as a quantity governed engine, as we are calling an SI engine, we are calling it as a pneumatic governing. Why? Because we are controlling the amount of the pressure of air. Okay. So in that way, this engine is especially different. When we are operating the engine, now you will observe that how we varied the fuel flow and air flow. Yes, Sampath garu.
Yes, sir. Should I start, sir?
Yeah.
Should I start, sir?
Start.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
start చేయండి. మీరు ఎక్కడైనా చెప్పమంటే అక్కడ చెప్తాను.
Yes, sir.
So today we will be conducting the performance test on a multi-cylinder diesel engine. So for this, we have chosen the Perkins engine, whose nameplate details are like this: the Perkins diesel engine with water brake. So you also please appreciate that whenever we are conducting a particular engine performance test or heat balance test, the dynamometer adapter are different. So here in this case, it is a water brake dynamometer. Okay. So as far as the specifications of this particular engine is concerned, it has 4 cylinders and it develops a maximum power of 36 horsepower when it is allowed to run at 1600 rpm. So correspondingly, we have to adjust the fuel, and whose specifications are: each cylinder has got its bore and stroke equivalent to 89 millimeters and stroke length of 127 millimeters. Since this is a multi-cylinder engine, it is as the name signifies, that Perkins engine, because this engine is not like a Kirloskar engine. So Kirloskar engines are quality governing engines. Normally conventional diesel engines are quality governing engines. Any diesel engine you take it, they are all quality governing engines. What is quality? So as long as the engine is running at a constant speed, it draws the fixed amount of air. So that means to vary the load, you have to adjust the fuel consumption. So that means irrespective of the load, as long as it is running at a constant speed, so the amount of air taken by the engine is constant. So at different loads, different fuel values will be obtained. So that means if you calculate the air fuel ratio, so right from the no load to the full load, the air fuel ratio is changing. So that means to regulate the load or speed, so we will be using the only amount of fuel variation here and regulation. That is the concept in a conventional diesel engine. Okay, we call it as an unthrottled diesel engine. Where the speciality of Perkins engine is, here we are also adjusting the amount of air taken by the engine. Okay, so for this you observe this is a air filter, and there is a air filter So here there is a control, what is called a butterfly valve is there here inside. There is a butterfly valve inside, or throttle valve we call it, I think. So this valve can be, so suppose if it is a horizontal, if it is horizontal, so the airflow to the engine is almost zero. Suppose if you keep it vertical by adjustment of this particular arrangement, so you can bring it vertical, so that means the airflow to the engine is maximum. So in between any position will give you the alternate amount of air. So that means there is a partial vacuum created here. So as the air is drawn, and during the running of the engine, during the suction stroke, you observe that the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. The suction is created. Here when you are regulating this throttle, the amount of air pressure will also vary. So this in turn is connected to, you just to follow this line, and from here, so this, if you adjust this particular knob, so that are able to see that, so we are trying to adjust. Okay, so this is the position by which the throttle valve inside the air filter can be varied. So this is conveyed from this point to the fuel rack. So directly in diesel engines, what we did to vary the load, we directly control the fuel rack position. So we are not directly touching that one. So we are varying the amount of air, the pressure created there. So that air pressure is conveyed to the fuel rack. So this line is coming from that air filter, and it is connected to the fuel rack. So this is a 4-cylinder engine, as you know. So there are 4 injectors here. So four fuel injection pumps, 4 injection pumps, they are all connected in line. So those fuel injection pumps are connected to the common rail, and that common rack, not rail, common rack, and this rack is getting varied by means of the air pressure which is controlled in the throttle plate. Okay. So this is a fuel injection pump. From that the fuel is pressurized and it is being sent to the 4 injectors which are located on the head of the engine cylinder. So these are the injectors, 1, 2, 3, 4 injectors. So essentially this is a pneumatic governing engine. Pneumatic governing, what does it mean? We are not controlling the amount of fuel, but we are also controlling the air as well as the fuel. So that means the better controlling of fuel can be obtained, okay, with the help of the pneumatic governing. So these particular engines were adopted earlier in tractors. So you can observe the variation of the speed and the noise what it generates. It is unlike from the Kirloskar engines what we have seen so far. When you are about to run the engine, you can see that the variation is. So if you follow the line right from the fuel, so there is a fuel line here. So there is a large gravimetric or volumetric arrangement of fuel flow. So we are not adopting like a burette or a pipette. So we are arranging some other different arrangement because it's a multi-cylinder engine. The consumption will be little more compared to a single cylinder engine. So from there, the fuel is coming to the engine through plastic tubing. Flow through this. It's a fuel tank. Here is the fuel tank. This is a fuel tank. From this fuel tank, that is going to the measuring flow meter. So from that measuring flow meter, it is coming to the engine through this plastic tubing. Okay. Through this plastic tubing, it is finally going to the fuel filter. Fuel filter. Okay. Fuel filter. So from this fuel filter, it is going to the fuel injection pump, which is a inline fuel injection pump. So you also study in a subject of primers for automobiles. There are different types of fuel injection pumps for multi-cylinder engine. One is a inline fuel injection pump, another is a rotary fuel injection pump and common rail direct injection pump, and one more is the unit injection. Unit injection is both fuel pump as well as the fuel injector, they are housed in a single unit. So here it is a multi-cylinder engine. Instead of using a single pump for every cylinder, you have a cluster of 4 fuel pumps are connected to the single rack. Cluster of 4 fuel injection pumps. The cluster of 4 fuel injection pump is connected to the fuel rack. సంపత్ గారు ఒక్కసారి So as you observed that there is a common rack, for 4 injection pumps. It is good one way because it is a compact, but it is not advantageous if one fuel injection pump is having problem, then it gets disturbed in the fuel flow to the injectors. So sometimes 4 fuel injection pumps may be independent or they may be made cluster. So one has to be very, very careful as far as the cluster of fuel injection pumps are concerned. Okay, please. Yeah. So from this fuel filter, network lo problem unna.
Sir, sometimes it restarts. You have to restart again, I guess.
Okay. Now we will conduct the experiment.
Very clear, very clear.
Only way is one. అంటే ట్రైలర్
ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్. Now we are showing from no load condition 1 reading, and for 1 load 5 points 1 reading. ఒకసారి ఆఫ్ మళ్ళీ స్టార్ట్ చేయరా, మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి ఒకసారి ఆఫ్ చేసి ఓకే, అదే ఒకసారి ఆఫ్ చేసాను, ఒకసారి ఆఫ్ చేసి. So that is the switch on. అది లోడింగ్ సార్, ఇది లోడింగ్ డైనమోమీటర్ లోడింగ్ సార్. Why? Actually, how is it? How is it? You start from there. So 50, 100 and 200 is there. So this is the best load there from here to here. I have readings over here, 50 to 100. సరే సార్ అట్లా our 20 cc fuel reading, sir. 50 cc we are taking the fuel reading. While you are pressing, you keep it like that. జీరో రీడింగ్ చూపించాను, 1 రీడింగ్ చూపించాను. స్టాప్ స్టాప్.
సంపత్ గారు,
Sir, just a minute, sir. I mean, what happened is, whatever I wanted to actually record, that has not taken, and the other one has taken, sir. I will show you the previous thing, sir.
మనము స్టార్టర్ మోటార్ది కూడా చూపించాం కదా.
I will, sir. I think that was there. That's what I'm trying. Starter motor thing.
ఓకే
Battery నుంచి తీసినాను.
ఓకే
Just a moment, sir. It's getting straight. Note down the readings.
In a single cylinder engine arrangement, we generally start the engine by cranking the camshaft. So whereas in a multi-cylinder engine, it is not done manually, but it will be started with the help of a battery. So like very commonly we call it as a giving ignition switch. So what will happen here? So by actuating this battery, it is going to the starter motor. Okay? The starter motor has got a Bendix drive. So the specialty of a Bendix drive is to have a small pinion, because by giving electric motion, so the small pinion will be engaged, and that is in line with the flywheel of the engine. So once you give the ignition key, so the pinion will start rotating. So it will come in contact with the flywheel. So once the engine gains momentum, so flywheel starts rotating now. Gaining momentum by the engine means flywheel starts rotating. So once the flywheel gains momentum, the pinion drive will get decoupled. So thereby again the battery starts the charging on its own. It is coupled to the alternator of the when excess power is developed and the battery is getting charged, When it is required in the starting, the power from the battery is drawn. So that is a specialty of multi-cylinder diesel engines. So this is a special another kind of this automotive engine. It is not like a stationary type of engine. It is an automotive type of multi-cylinder diesel engine.
So this is where we control
Water flow, yeah?
yeah, so this is the valve which we use to load by rotating this valve. We are actually filling the water into the dynamometer, and that's how we are actually loading. And then we will be adjusting on the right side. You can see here with his hand is adjusting the ratchet such that the airflow will be controlled, such that the camshaft will rotate at 1600 rpm by adjusting this ratchet as was explained. And then we will take from the pipette and burette arrangement, we will take the amount of fuel that is for 100 cc. So that you can see from this.
Amarnath, ఒక్క నిమిషం అండి. One. Amarnath.
Sir.
Yeah. So this water flow is nothing to do with the coolant of water to the engine. Okay. So on the other hand, we have a coolant water flow. So of course, we are not bothering about that particular details in this particular experiment. This water flow is to arrest the motion of the shaft of the engine temporarily. So we are trying to allow the water flow into the dynamometer. Understood?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
So now no load, sir, for zero load, because we have not opened any water. So this is for no load.
Okay.
You can see the reading is 0 almost. And now he is taking the RPM. By adjusting the ratchet, he is trying to adjust the speed to 1600 RPM. Controlling the governor position is creating it to 1600 RPM. Then he is taking the reading for 10 cc or 100 cc fuel. Okay, you could see this marking. From here the fuel is coming down. This is the marking, sorry. This is the marking. At that position, how much cc is we are collecting it in a tank, a bypass valve. It's lowering now. So based on this, we are taking the readings. So I think
అది థ్రాటిల్ ప్లేట్ ది చూపిస్తా అన్నారు కదా
sir, throttle plate, yeah, throttle plate, yes. Now I'm playing, sir.
ఓకే above that one the air filter is removed and you can see how this butterfly was. So what is happening inside when I am going on tightening this nut, It is getting opened, no?
Yes, sir.
That how the partial vacuum is conveyed to the fuel rack. So we are not directly touching the fuel rack, but the partial vacuum created will be conveyed to the fuel rack. Thereby air and fuel ratios are maintained almost constant. So this is though it is a diesel engine, it is a quality governed engine we call it.
Air filter, sir.
So that gets filtered. Even fuel which is the upper part of that butterfly valve is removed. Filling station. So for convenience, we are showing how a air filter looks like. That may have some dusted particles. No? Again, it gets filtered in the. Now, not only that is a fuel filter, but air may have a lot of dust. So if it goes there now, so your fuel injection, the valves get clogged. Intake valve. It is a oil bath air filter. Oil bath. Oil because it gets oil, so some particles can hit this. Oil bath. This whole thing will be sitting on that top.
Yes, sir. Here.
Air filter will be sitting on this.
And they can see from the starting.
Yes, correct.
I will just show that.
The brake diameter. Okay. It develops each cylinder has the engines are the quality governed. So right from the no load to the and there is the air filter.
This is the air filter, sir, that we are talking. So we opened this and showed the throttle valve in the previous video. Am I clear, students? So this is what we have shown in the previous air filter, and whatever professor has talked about is the throttle valve inside it. We removed this and showed that part in the second video.
Sir,
So
is
any
it called,
doubts, or can we?
sir, what is this called, butterfly?
Sometimes called throttle plate or throttle valve or butterfly valve. Butterfly, it is flip flap is there, no? Butterfly,
Yes, sir.
how it, so because of that one, that name is given because we are trying to adjust the position of that throttle plate.
Okay, sir.
Throttle in a sense, see, if you just press your throttle, what will happen? You will not have free flow, you know.
Yes, sir.
Restricted flow. Okay. Sometimes when you have some throat infection like that, a free flow of food will not take place, no. So we are trying to throttle it. Throttle means cutting off or regulation.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other doubts you can ask related to the experiment? Now calculations are pending.
So in the starter motor, you understood, no, there is a Bendix drive. So that Bendix drive has a small pinion. By actuating with the electric motor, battery, so the pinion will start. Pinion rotates at a higher speed. Okay.
I passed, sir. Okay, you can explain.
Correct. So the pinion will rotate at a higher speed, you know. So pinion will be coming in alignment with the flywheel. Flywheel actually immediately after the crankshaft, you have a flywheel. That flywheel is a storage device. So if you rotate it, in crankshaft start rotating it, the engine operation will gain. So to give momentum to the flywheel, we are making use of the small pinion. So a smaller effort with the help of a starter motor will give the motion to the flywheel. So once the flywheel starts rotating, the pinion drive will be withdrawn. Okay.
Right. So can we move ahead to the reading sensor?
Correct.
Yes, sir. You can explain.
On the board, I have written that the performance test on a multi-cylinder diesel engine. So Perkins engine, the specialty is a pneumatic governing, about which we discussed a little while ago. So the nameplate details gives us what is the maximum power, that is 36 HP. That is equal to, as I told you in the previous class also, the dynamometer formula varies from a manufacturer to manufacturer. So essentially we have load multiplied by the torque. Is that the speed? So Wn by 1000. W is the units of the dynamometer. So to convert into horsepower to kilowatts, we are multiplying with the 0.736. So what is a, so for drawing the graph, for facilitating to draw the graph, we have to have some points, you know. So for that, what we are doing, first we are calculating the maximum load corresponding to this 36 HP. 36 into 1000 divided by 1600. 1600 is the rated RPM of the engine. Always we are trying to bring to the rated RPM of the engine. From this, we will get a 22.5 units. So that is divided equally, like first reading is 0, second reading is 5 units, the third reading is 10 units, fourth reading is 15 units, fifth reading is 20 units, then sixth would be 22.5. We could not load it to the full extent. So we have sufficient number of points, you know. So at each load, we are trying to bring the engine to 1600 RPM, and after allowing it to run for some time, we are noting down the time taken for 100 cc of fuel consumption. So essentially this is the time per 100 cc. So from that we can get the value of fuel consumption. So this is a column 1, 2, 3, fourth. Fourth is a brake power. Brake power can be calculated from this corresponding to each load. Then the fifth column is a fuel consumption, which is given in kg per hour. Then next column is brake specific fuel consumption. So this fuel consumption divided by brake power will give you the brake specific fuel consumption. And for getting indicated power, we have to draw this curve. Actually, this is not correct. It is strictly applicable for unthrottled engines only, but we don't have any other method to draw. So we are taking the help of this crude method, fuel consumption versus brake power. From this, we will evaluate whatever we got it from method understood from a performance test on a single cylinder engine, you know. So Whelan's line method, it will give the approximate value of friction power. So that friction power, since we ran it at constant speed, we will add it to each brake power. We get indicated power for every load. So once we get indicated power, we get the mechanical efficiency, because brake power divided by indicated power is mechanical efficiency. So we get brake thermal efficiency also as usual. Then indicated power, if you keep it, we'll get indicated thermal efficiency. The last column is a torque. So as you know, this is a brake formula, and this can be equated to 2 pi nt by 60. Where we also know the brake power is equal to 2 pi nt by 60. So from this, because we know everything on the left side except this t. So from this, we can get the value of torque corresponding to each load reading. So we can draw various performance characteristics and compare what are the values likewise. Okay. Yeah, Sampath Garan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear, sir. So anything more? Yeah, students, you can question if you have any doubts in the experiment or anything. You are free to. So some of the students has come and they have taken the readings. They have taken complete readings. I just kept it without typing just to make you understand that, just to make you realize that they have taken the readings. They have run the experiment and they have taken the readings. You can note it down.
Moni came now from A section.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Is another boy?
Another boy name, I don't know, sir. Is he here?
Yes, Shiva. Shiva.
Shivam.
Okay. From which section? A or B?
A, sir. A section.
A section.
Oh, both are A section. Last week, one or two people from B section.
From B section also has come, sir. Correct. Please note down these readings. Time for 100 cc fuel is 144, 95, 69.5, 53, 42.
How do you get fuel consumption? So it is 100 cc divided by 144 into 0.832. So you'll get so many grams per hour. Okay, and that grams per hour can be converted into kg per hour by dividing by 1000. So kg per hour can be obtained in terms of kg per second. So by multiplying with 3600 conversion factor, we'll get into kg per hour. The grams per second they will get by multiplying with the specific gravity.
Yes, sir.
So likewise, one can perform the calculations.
We have this variable speed performance test, sir. Only thing is the theory will be similar. Only thing is they have to procedure has to they have to vary and write it down. So I will share this. I will share this in the folder, sir. But if they write directly copying this, they will be in trouble.
Here the objective they have to understand. Please read this one. In what way this experiment is different, I will tell you. So to study the performance of a Perkins engine at full throttle. Okay, what does it mean full throttle? We don't alter the airflow also. What do? We'll try to load the engine so that it will come to 1600 rpm to the full load. 22.5 units we got, no? So we'll try to load to 22.5 by going on adjusting the throttle point. So where you are going to see 1600, so there we will fix the throttle. That's all. We don't change. No. Once that is fixed, we are not going to vary the throttle position at all. So that's how we conduct the experimental full throttle. Now, when you come to the observation table, it is irrespective. Please go to the second pair. Here, instead of load, we have the independent. There, independent is ours 0, 5, 10, likewise, no?
That is load, sir. That is load.
That is independent is on our previous experiment is load. Here it is speed. It is 1000, 1100, 1200, 1300. Likewise, we have to keep. So you want to bring it. So far, it was running at 1600 rpm, no? So by varying the amount of water flow to the dynamometer, you can bring down the load to or speed to 1000 rpm. Note down the time taken for some cc of whatever dynamometer reading shows that you have to note down. Okay.
So please don't copy this directly. This is helpful for you to write some part of theory and about the engine. Okay.
So fixing the full throttle position is a important factor here.
So I'm sharing this whole folder to you. I will keep the link in the LMS. So any other things you can directly ask.
Sarthak?
Yes, sir.
Sarthak and Kalyan both are here, no?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
Can we include this experiment also for our next exam? Quiz test?
Yes, sir. No problem, sir.
Don't worry too much about that examination. No? It is a 20 bits will be there, simple. It is a recapitalization.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Any clarifications you want?
No, sir.
Amarnath Bishwal?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any doubts or clarifications you want? Any clarifications you
Sir,
want?
right now I'm not getting. In the next class, I may ask.
Okay.
Yeah, after doing calculations, he may get
Sir,
some.
I had a small doubt regarding records. What is the weightage of records out of and weightage of exams?
It is a 20% for the minors, no? Quiz tests.
Yes, sir.
Remaining, because 50 marks are from internal.
Internal and 50 from the
Internal. So 20 from the this one and 30 from the folders they submit, no?
Correct, sir. Correct.
So remaining 50 is for end examination.
For end examination, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Who is this?
Sir, this is Abhilash.
Abhilash, yeah.
Yes, sir. Regarding the next week test, will we be having questions based on basic prime movers or based on these experiments, sir?
Only experiment. I am not at all, because we don't want to test your knowledge in the subject what we are studying simultaneously. Okay? Because you should not feel that it is a four-stroke engine means it can be from the experiment side and it can be from the theory side also. Okay? So there, decompression lever might not have been taught in the theory, you know. Hello?
Yes, sir. They didn't teach. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in theory. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, who is asking? We are getting confused.
Somebody unmuted their phone, sir, actually.
Abhilash, maximum will be confining to only experiment related questions only. Okay, Abhilash?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a doubt from previous experiment video, sir. Sir, it was told by you that water is heated by convection and thermosiphonic effect. I don't get the word correctly. I don't know. Thermosiphonic effect. So what is that effect, sir? I don't know about it.
Effect?
Thermosiphon. Thermosiphon effect is asked.
No. Actually, for cooling purpose, the water circulates around the cylinder, isn't it? The inlet will be at the bottom of the cylinder and outlet is at the top of the cylinder. So it goes from bottom to top by thermosiphonic effect. Means by temperature difference or density difference, it goes, hot water goes up and automatically gets out.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Usually for circulation at any other place, water enters from the top and goes from the bottom, right? But that will be very fast and it may not take heat from the cylinder. Now here it enters at the bottom, takes up the heat, and due to density difference, it goes up and natural circulation takes place.
In short, from the bottom to top, if the liquid has to flow, we have to provide either a motor or, a pump or something. Otherwise, if you are providing from top, there is nothing is required, just flows because of gravity. In the other case, there is another way by which water can flow without a pump, without any aid of the pump, artificial external energy. That is basically by natural convection. Whenever it gets heated up, it moves up. That's what Professor is talking about.
Yeah. Buoyancy effects created by temperature variations.
One is gravity based.
That is called as thermosiphoning.
Yeah. Siphoning means it is a removing, siphoned out. Funds are siphoned out means funds are taken out. Likewise, the thermally we are siphoning out the water.
Okay. Thermos means high heat and siphon means out. That is what the name comes from. I think, sir. Correct?
Yeah.
So this, I didn't know that, sir. I learned it.
No.
I didn't know about this. How it got explained.
It is the thermosiphonic effect is like this only because of the temperature differences created the buoyancy effect, no?
I'm talking about the name, thermosiphon. Siphon, I never thought of it and suddenly you gave me the answer.
Yeah, siphon. Siphoned out, we generally call, no?
Okay. Okay. So heat out. Basically, nothing but heat out.
No, if some funds are misused, like I say, okay?
Correct.
The government funds are siphoned out like that.
Okay.
In newspapers, they use this terminology. These people are very strong in English. Okay, they may be preparing for CAT, GRE, likewise, no?
Correct.
Any CAT aspirants are here? Nobody gives the answer.
So should I stop recording, sir?
Yeah, if they don't have any clarification, no? Somebody is asking some question.
Regarding experiments, this experiment, there may not be much doubts because same constant speed test they are using again.
Correct.
Except for governing, there is nothing different for the previous performance test and this performance test.
Even calculations also, no variation. Very good to know. Raghuvamshi is a CAT aspirant. All the best, ma.
There may be other people also. Usually, they prefer to go after 1 or 2 years of doing job.
Sir, I have one more doubt, but it is out of the experiment, sir. May I?
Yeah, Jayesh.
Sir, like we use non-volatile fuels in diesel engine or CI engine, and volatile fuels in SI engine. So, sir, like how volatile properties are making them separate from these engines, sir?
Non-volatile fuels are used in a CI engine. Okay. So for that, I was telling no number of times that the heart of the diesel engine is a fuel injection pump. Okay. That fuel injection pump makes the fuel to get pressurized. So very high pressures. So that high pressures will be converted into high kinetic energy stream by passing through the nozzle. Okay. Because
Yes,
they are
sir.
non-volatile, the mixing is improper sometimes. Okay. Unless you bring it to the form of spray sort of thing, you cannot have the thorough mixing of air and fuel. So that problem is with the high density or high distillates or non-volatile fuels are there. If the density is more, okay, if the viscosity is high, one requires very high injection pressures to inject the fuel into the diesel engine. Okay.
Yes, sir. Understood. Thank you.
This topic may be covered in under fuel metering in your PMA subject. See, Bernoulli's principle, you know, when you are spraying water, it comes out through the orifice, and at a certain distance, no, it becomes like a conical shape. Hello?
Yes, sir.
That high pressure which you have being injected from the spray is coming in contact with the atmosphere. Because of that pressure difference, it becomes a very high velocity, square root of 2gh. What is that h? Delta P by rho. Am I right? Hello, Jayesh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That height itself is h, sir. What pressure difference?
Yeah, because of that one, the spray will occur. If the spray is too wide, the fuel will be impinged over the inner walls of the cylinder. So that is not correct. It should get injected into the hard core of the air. Ultimately, the fuel should thoroughly mix with the air.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. The conventional engines used to have a fuel injection pressure of 500 bar likewise. Nowadays, the engines are provided with diesel engines now. They are provided a common rail direct injection. They are adapting to the tune of 1500 bar. So the higher the pressure, higher will be the jet of impingement. Okay. So at that condition, the air and fuel gets thoroughly mixed.
Sir, one more thing, sir. This week, I am not asking them to apply, submit the folders in LMS, sir, because the size they have reduced from 8 MB to 2 MB, sir, the LMS people. And many students are complaining that the size is not sufficient for them to upload. Even if they want to reduce the size of the file to 2 MB, it's becoming very inaccurate. We are not able, it's not very legible. Many dots are coming. So if you permit me, I will try to put this Google form where they can attach the folders, and that we can correct.
Okay.
Instead of an LMS.
If the reason is genuine.
Yes, sir. I've checked it, sir. Only 2 MB they are giving as a for assignment submission and all in the LMS. Only 2 MB they have provided, sir.
What can be done?
So we cannot. They have even the CRs have talked with the respective people who are actually working with the LMS, and they said that now they cannot do anything. They have reduced. Initially, 8 MB was there. First 2 experiments. After that, they suddenly reduced the size because the memory is taking more. Therefore, they have to pay more money, so they reduced that to 2 MB.
Okay. Okay.
That is the reason.
Okay. No issue.
So, who are the TAs attended? Vishnu, are you there? Vishnu? The 2 MTechs are here.
Yes, sir.
Niranjan, and who is speaking?
I'm Kaushik, sir.
Kaushik, and then Niranjan.
I don't know, sir.
Niranjan has not attended. Isn't correct. You do have to attend. Whenever work comes to you, I will allocate work to you. So
Okay,
you
sir.
have to be attending the lab so that you will understand the experiments and all. Otherwise, how do you how help us?
Okay, sir.
Tell Niranjan to attend from next week onwards.
Okay, sir.
There is good attendance now today.
Yes, sir. 154 right now, including 3 of us. So 151 is the actual attendance, sir. 150 you can take.
Yeah, we also get a strength because when there are a good number of students are there, it's an encouragement for us.
So this time number is 155, 154 nearly, out of 160 or 165.
Correct. But out of 155, 4 of us are here, no? 3 of us and 1 TA. So total 150 to 151.
Yes, nearly.
Yeah,
But anyway, the CRs they deserve appreciation. Not only CRs, but students also deserve appreciation.
All are joining, sir, taking interest in T lab, sir. Also.
Okay, Sampath Kumar Gari, if nothing
Yes,
is
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will wind up. Where you can attach the link, I will share with both sections to your respective group emails. So please attach that within the respective time. Okay. If you have any doubts, we will discuss in the next week. So next week we have a test right after the exam. Correct, sir? So right after the exam, that means around 3:30 we will have the exam. 3:30 to 3, whatever the time, 20 minutes or 15 minutes, depending on what sir decides. So based on that, we will have the exam next week after the experiment, after 3:30. All right.
Yes.
So, if you have no questions, we will wind up the session. Thank you, Dr. Ambaprasad sir and Sri Gupta sir.
Okay, thank you, Sampath.
And all
Thank
the
you.
students. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
thank you for all of you.
bye, sir. Take care. Take care, students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.